So, starting off into Chapter 9, I will say that the beginning part was absolutely terrible, but it ended pretty decently. I definitely should have abused the fact that I have stasis more, but I end up losing a ton of health for pretty much no reason. And if you're curious, that was the effects of the contact beam not working on enemies on a wall. So, if you needed an indicator, there you go. But yeah, we're taking a lot of free hits that would be pretty easy to avoid otherwise. And we are missing a lot of health. We're basically one shot right now. And I have no more healing. So, this will be kind of sketchy until we get to the next store, which is a little ways away. But we do have an enemy that busts out of this vent, so... And I was aware of that fact. I'm not concerned with them. We will also have some babies coming up, which... those are pretty simple, all things considered. We just use the force gun. After I use the plasma cutter on one of them. But here we have a good niche use of the force gun. Got rid of every single baby and pushed the bodies back where we don't need to worry about them being next to us. So, if there ever is a case for the force gun, it's definitely in a situation like this or the pack. Apparently it's the babysitter gun because it gets rid of all of the child-based necromorphs really easily. Including lurkers, by the way. It will be used on the drill section later. But here in this room, we definitely are in a tight spot with lurkers on the ceiling, as well as a puker coming at us. So I kind of stepped back while he was trying to hit us at max range with his stuff, and luckily it didn't. And then we just clear out the rest of the room. So now we have our store. I've never been so happy to see one. And we're definitely going to take advantage of that fact. Because currently we have absolutely no healing on our person. And we do have the large medpack schematic now as well. I never use it, but we have it. I find that they give you pretty adequate healing throughout most of the game, so I just don't really worry about it. It may be a bunch of small med packs, but it's still pretty decent. And here we're gonna get attacked by a divider. Fun fact, the body will disappear if you let all of its parts spawn, and then the body is still not... you still don't grab its stuff out of it. So... I ended up getting rid of most of the parts and then blowing the body out of line of sight so it disappears. That's why I spent so long trying to find if it dropped its semiconductor. But I never actually hit the body to get it. So, that kind of hurt. Because it should drop a semiconductor, but alas, it disappeared before I grabbed it out of it. Because all of its little chunk parts of its body loaded too many assets and then the main body disappeared. But here going into this next room, there's going to be a decompression window on the left. This is a pretty infamous room. If you do this right in the elevator here, you can actually activate the window without activating the decompression, but I still stood too far over in the corner, so I got sucked into the window still. And then this guy grabbed me before I could hit his legs. But since I don't have to worry about the window now, this room is much better. The biggest pain in the ass of this room is that window and the exploder. They knew what they were doing when they designed it. But also there is a ruby semiconductor down in this pit, so we definitely want to grab that. But yeah, as I was saying, if you stand further over in the elevator, you can actually activate the window without getting sucked out, and that makes this room a lot less scary. Just the fact that that window exists is what makes it so scary. So we don't want to use the explosives right next to us, so we're going to opt to use this box to clear out the tripwires. And then we will have a schematic back here for flamer fuel, I believe. And also an audio log. But if you were smart, you'd probably take that propane tank and use it on this Guardian, unlike me. I don't know why in the actual doing of this, I didn't think about that. But yeah, just use the propane tank on the Guardian. It'll save you ammo. But it's still pretty easy to get rid of. There is also another propane tank right there that we could use. But we're going to take the lift up, where we will be attacked by a bunch of scripted Necromorphs, including a spitter and an exploder right off the bat, so we definitely want to get rid of them. Especially the exploder. That rule of thumb has still not changed. If there is an exploder around, get rid of it before it's near you. You can tell by its cat purrs. But then there's a pregnant in the doorway. The spitter behind it kind of gets stuck on it. And I swear I'm not shooting the main bodies of these pregnants, but I keep hitting them. But either way, I just adjust. It's nothing too big of a deal whenever you have the force gun if you rip open a pregnant. At that point, it's basically just an inconvenience, if anything. It's not even a worry. But as soon as we move this, there will be a divider head underneath it. Easy enough to just move it at a distance and then shoot it once. But we'll just go around clearing out this room. There's also stasis on the wall over here. They didn't want to soft lock you at this part, so they did give you stasis. So that was nice of them. But we just put all the gears in, then start up the tram. And then we'll get attacked by 2 enhanced slashers. So we definitely want to be on the lookout for them. Nothing too extreme, just take out their legs. Really slows them down. When in doubt, if you can cripple mobility, it's definitely in your favor. So I would recommend it. But now we're just going to take the tram and go to Ellie and Strauss. Then we're going to work our way towards the second half of Chapter 9.
Get out of my head. You're not Nicole!
Probably a good thing Ellie and Strauss weren't there to witness that. They might start questioning.
Hey, you made it.
He's staring at me, Isaac. Strauss.
Through the holes in his head.
Listen to me.
Stop staring at me! Stop it!
Relax!
Isaac, we have to get out of here.
Right. Let's go.
Yeah, Strauss is getting further and further into his psychosis, but this will be a bit of a tram ride, and then we'll be back whenever we're done with that. Basically just a long cutscene, so don't really have much to worry about.
That's the Ishimura.
Yeah. Used to be the pride of the CEC. It's a sad story, actually. I heard everybody on board died. Some sort of terrorist attack.
What? Terrorist attack? What happened aboard that ship was no terrorist attack.
And Isaac about to lose his mind.
What do you mean?
That's where all this started, Ellie. Everything that's happening here happened on that ship. I saw it. I was on board when it happened.
Hey, what's happening?
I don't know. Something must be blocking the track.
Stay here. I'll take a look.
So, on hardcore mode, this would actually be where I take my second save. Just because the whole tripod fight and stalker room that's coming up, it can be very dangerous, and you can go very into the negatives for health packs and a bunch of stuff very quickly. But I actually did pretty decently, except for one notable exception here, where a stalker actually hits me because I thread the needle through its armpit, which is kind of hilarious, but also sad. And here I use the power of knowledge to get rid of this cyst. Easy enough. Anything that hits them while they're in their priming state will automatically detonate them, so we can just take advantage of that fact and use anything in the room to throw at them. But after we clear out the cysts, that indicates that the stalkers are going to start, well, stalking us. So we see him peekaboo around the corner, and we definitely don't want that. So we get rid of him once he charges, and then we see his friend there peek out around the corner. And we're going to try and get rid of him. And I actually frame by framed that, and it was so incredibly close that I threaded the needle on that you probably wouldn't believe it if you saw it. In fact, it still upsets me. It was kind of ridiculous just how insane that shot missing was. There was a single frame where his arm opens up to like let it through, and that is how I missed. On that singular frame. But still, we're just going to take the long route through this room on the outside of it, because we do need to worry about exploders coming in through the wall vents. There may be stalkers in this room, but exploders are still a priority. Because a stalker headbutt we can survive at full health. An exploder blowing up right next to us is basically a death sentence. And we don't want that. So, if I had to choose between shooting an exploder and shooting a stalker, I would still opt to shoot the exploder. But we're just going to take this slow and methodically, make sure that we can hear him, watch for him looking around corners. And as said before in previous chapters, stalkers have like a priority kind of system, where whenever they're looking around a corner, if you shine your flashlight on them, more often than not, that'll be the one that comes after you with a headbutt. So, if we see one peeking around a corner, we're probably going to shine our light on it to try and get it to charge us, because then we'll know which one is charging us. And they will only charge one at a time. You can't have two stalkers charging you at the same time. So, if we know where the one is charging us from, that's all the better. But yeah, exploders, still priority. Definitely want to get rid of them. And here I used the fact that there was an exploder and we got his arm to get rid of another stalker. But here we can see this one popping up over there, so take advantage of that fact, shine our light on him for a half second, and then get rid of him. And then his friend jumps over the boxes, so he'll also follow suit. Looks over, we shine our flashlight at him, get rid of his leg, get rid of his arm, and he's gone. But once you know the freaky music and the bird chirping stops in the room, that you got rid of all the stalkers. But we do still have one enemy left in this room that we need to worry about, which will be around the corner. But we have a conveniently placed propane tank for that, so we'll get rid of it whenever we get to it. But we do want to clear out this room of all of its goodies, because it's free at this point, so we might as well take it. So here, we just stasis the Guardian to keep its tentacles in place, and then get rid of all of them at once with the propane tank right around the corner. It took us one shot to get rid of the pod, and it took us absolutely no ammo to get rid of the Guardian, so we're going to go behind it though, and grab all of this stuff back here. Which there is a health pack, credits, and seeker shells. We don't use the seeker rifle, but it's okay for a damage weapon. I don't really care for it for dismembering, but to each their own. I prefer the contact beam for a damage weapon just because it also has the get off me alternate fire, so. But here we're gonna have assist hallway, which we definitely need to clear these guys out. We don't want to take free damage. But it's easy enough, it's a long, well-lit hallway so you can see most of them. But here I take advantage of the fact that we have the force gun because I know there's going to be a necromorph that spawns around this corner. So I let him walk out a little bit, and then let the assist take care of him. Easy enough. Make your enemy work for you, you use less ammo. Efficient. But we want to make sure that we have enough of all that we need for the next fight. Because we're coming up on the tripod canisters throwing fight, we just want to make sure that we have enough stasis and plasma cutter rounds. Because our plasma cutter will take out a leg from a tripod in 3 shots. So it's definitely the most efficient ammo for this fight coming up. So that's basically my main concern. Just having enough stasis and plasma cutter to get us through this fight. So we actually have 2 quote-unquote free barrels to begin with here. I like to throw them downwards, just because it's 2 extra barrels we have down below. We get free barrels here, so there's no real point in using it on this first canister whenever you can have them down below to save you 2 barrels. It just makes more sense to have the free ones down below because that's whenever you're going to be under a time crunch. Well, not so much a time crunch, but you're going to be under enemy pressure the entire time. And having the 2 extra barrels down there is more beneficial than having them up here. So, that's why I throw them downwards. It only makes you waste about 20 extra seconds waiting on barrels up here to save your ass down below from possibly worse. So, that's why I do what I do there, in case you're wondering. And nothing starts here until you actually start throwing stuff at the canister here. The big canister that we throw the propane tanks at. So if you want to clear out the room, you can. But there's just the 2 boxes, so. But once you start throwing these canisters, be on the lookout for the tripods, because they will come along. I missed with stasis once, but it's easy enough to just apply it again. And there, it took us 6 shots minimum. So, super simple to get rid of a tripod that way. But we'll have another one come in. We see him springing downwards, so he's going to be jumping. So we just rush to the side and get rid of an arm. Stasis him again. And some of the shots didn't really register there, but it's easy enough to get rid of him still. So now we just basically have these 2 canisters left. And that's done. But there will be a semiconductor that drops from that canister whenever you destroy it, so make sure to grab that before you run out of the way. Because, hey, it's free money. It's there. You might as well. But then we're going to be on to our long cutscene into the start of Chapter 10, which is the revisiting of the Ishimura. And will be one of our longest chapters, so that'll be fun. You know, I kind of wonder what Strauss thinks that entire time. Dude's probably just chilling, being a psychopath. But yeah, with that, that's going to be the end of Chapter 9, and we'll make our way into Chapter 10. So, let me know what you guys think, and have a good one.
Looks like it is here. At this point, it's all just dead weight.
Isaac, what did he mean? What did he mean when he said dead weight?
He's using the solar beam.
We gotta stop the transport now.
Oh, shit. He's cut the station in half. There's no track to get across on.
Back us up. Back us up to the station.
What? Why?
Just do it, Ellie. Hurry. The Ishimura. If the gravity tethers are still functional, I can...
You can snag Govsec and drag it back? Isaac, this is ridiculous.
If I can line the tracks up just for a few seconds, you should be able to get the transport across. Stay ready. And take care of Strauss.